We are finally at the end of the journal entries, and yeah, it gets worse as it goes on. We're going to finish it out, and we're going to talk about it all in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. Sofa's still back here, Roscoe's sleeping on it, I'm still in front of it, and I'm still awake in front of it. Now, like I said, we are entering into the last 10 pages of these journal entries. These are the journals that Ruby Frankie kept, documenting the things that she and Jody did to the children. As we've done, I've done about 10 per video. That's about what I can do in a day or whatever. And they just get worse and worse and worse and more insightful into the twisted way she thinks, I guess. So today is the last entry in it. Now, what's going to be different about this video is my computer is doing that thing where the fan's running in it and making this high-pitched noise. So I'm going to be reading it from my phone. I uploaded the files to here. So excuse me while I'm looking at my phone and doing that. I do apologize. And I have not read these yet, so I just snatched them from that Utah website where they released all the stuff or whatever. And so it's going to be kind of like my fresh little take on it, which is how it has been. So I just say that because literally I'll just stop as we go and be like, what am I reading? Again, I've said it, if you've been following me and reading through the case or whatever, and especially these journal entries, I'll say it 100 times. Thank God that boy, the victim, her child, escaped and went to the neighbors, because he saved not only his life but his siblings and then countless other people. I mean, I really look at this now as like he is literally what brought this to an end, and not just the victimization of him and the children, but countless others that we've heard from, right? This blew the lid off of their cover. And again, they would not be here if he had not done that, because what we've read in these is, I'm surprised they lived through this. So, that being said, obvious trigger warning. Now, if you want to follow Roscoe and I outside here, we are on Instagram. It's on the screen. It's in the description. Go ahead and give it a click. See what we do over there. It ain't real fancy. It ain't nothing much. But, you know, we do hang out over there. Anyways. Alright, so, last 10 pages, and they start off with me not being able to see. I'm just joking. So August 2nd, 2023, Wednesday. It says Jody and either E or R, it's kind of blurred out, are still away. E is distracted by being in the house, getting socks, being held and carried, and out of the elements. She reads her Bible. She ate her beans and rice and chicken. She is quiet. R sat outside yesterday and didn't manipulate. I asked R why he didn't manipulate yesterday. He said because he wanted to change. I said, no, that's not true. You didn't manipulate because you weren't uncomfortable. You weren't hot. Pause immediately. And some of the comments, I've heard y'all say this, and we've talked about it in the previous videos. It doesn't matter what the children do. It does not matter. If they do what she wants them to do, she changes the goal. So this right here, so you would think that she wouldn't want him to manipulate. Well, why didn't you manipulate? Well, because, I want to change. No, you just weren't uncomfortable. Now, if she put him out there and he was uncomfortable, he started to manipulate, she would then turn the dice around and switch the game up and say, oh, well, he's doing this because he's possessed. Yes, we need to do it more. There's never an end game to it other than feeding the machine to allow her to be this in control monster. All of this is self-satisfying to her. She does not have the depth to comprehend this at all. If you remember, if you listened to part 3 where she goes to the cemetery with the kids and they clean it out and whatnot, and the woman approaches her and is like, what are you doing? This is private property, like this is tribal land or whatever it was. And Ruby's like rude about it, like, we're doing you a favor. We're doing stuff here. It's that mentality right there. And then she writes in her journal, that woman was being disrespectful. That woman wasn't raised right. Ruby, it's always self-serving to her ego. But again, people like her and her, they can't comprehend that. They're not able to. Today, and this one is blacked out, I can't tell, is standing outside on the patio by the room. It's raining. The rain is doing what? She does this in quotations. This looks like it says I, but I can't really see. Washing what it touches. Washing what it touches, the rocks. Me. Yes, you desecrated these rocks, and the rain is cleaning them. Let it clean you too. Blank pooped himself. He is angry. August 6, 2023, Sunday. R's rage comes out as he can't have what he wants, which is to serve the devil, aka have no responsibility, and have me, mom, tout on him, coddle him. He wants both. Feed me, hug me, be tender with me, shower me in praise and affection, and let me lie to you and abuse you. I mean, again, pause. He wants what most every child wants and needs. Look at how she turns it around. So she's the one doing this to him. She's the one harming him. But she twists it around to, no, he's harming me. That he's harming me because he wants these natural things that any child needs and deserves. That is evil to her. I mean, you see how twisted this is, right? It blows my mind. Okay, let's continue. Today is rage for hours. F you at least 50 times. I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm never going to change. Take me to jail where I belong. Okay, now I've heard some people talk about this in the comments and stuff like this and then piecing together. Remember when he left the letter, I'm going to jail? I almost think that he was convinced that that's where she was telling him he was going to go. And maybe in his mind, he's thinking, this is a no-win situation. This is utter misery. This is hell on earth. Take me to jail. That's where I'm going. I can't win, so I guess just let me go. Now, maybe this is a child, obviously, right? So he might not have the wherewithal to, number one, understand that probably, honestly, jail, and I know you want to go to real adult jail, is probably treating people better than this right here, than his mother did in this, and Jody and his mother did in this situation. But it's heartbreaking to see him broken down to that level of just take me to jail. I give up. Now let's move on to page 2. This is August 7th, 2023. Blank will come start, it looks like fishing or finishing or something in the basement so Jody can sell her house. This is great news. Only blank is yelling obscenities. Jody asked blank plus blank, what are you going to say when you see God? F you? R answered, sure. Blank conceded, canceled. This gave us a full day for blank at the end of the day. He was docile, compliant. E cried today, compliant. Again, it's just, this is their thing, torment the children all day long. August 8th, 2023, blank is very defiant. I found his fingers poopy. He keeps pooping pee in his pants. Within 5 minutes of him going to the bathroom, he went in his pants and tried hiding it from me. Later, the spirit told me to ask him some questions. I asked them from an assumption position. Now the rest is blanked out. Now what I've heard from talking to some of you is that one of the siblings, I believe, of Ruby said that the stuff that's blacked out is even worse than what we're reading. So do the math on that. What we're reading is horrific. Imagine what's in there. Now, again, this whole thing about the children using the bathroom and doing this, clearly to me, this is a stress reaction as well as a bodily reaction. It cannot be good on your system when we're sitting here reading how they're not letting them have water, not letting them have food, doing all this bizarre stuff with food deprivation and whatnot. I would imagine your body is in all sorts of cohorts. I would imagine that this does damage to your organs, right? So it doesn't surprise me. And then also the stress level of what their minds and bodies are being put through. Now let's go ahead on to page 3. You'll see it's blacked out at the top and then it continues. There's a long blackout, and it says, Mom to R, you keep saying you are unwilling to do uncomfortable things, but I watch you continuously do uncomfortable things the devil tell you to do. You would rather be uncomfortable than to be obedient. This isn't really about being uncomfortable. This is about adamantly refusing obedience. You would rather be uncomfortable rather than obedient. Is that true? R, yes, ma'am. Mom to R, when did you sell your soul to the devil? R, 2 or 3. Mom, did he come to you or you to him? Blank, he came to me. Mom, and what is he giving you in exchange for your soul? Money, fame, strength, a person? R, nothing. I tell R can still keep his soul. He can have a life. He blank to stay here. I told him to think something to be obedient to a devil who offers nothing in exchange for everything. Again, this obsession that she has with saying that he is, exchanged his soul, done this and that. And remember, these are children she's talking to about this, and having these honest to God conversations to like totally serious. And this is what blows my mind, because again, if you look at from the outside perspective of us to them, or us to the situation, it's like you would really be asking Ruby this, like, at what point did the devil enter your life and take over like this? What are you going to exchange for it? Why is she, are you getting fame? Are you getting this? She's asking the child. Of course not. And he's right. He's getting nothing, right? There's no existence here. He is just trying to survive every day. Okay, let's move along to page 4 now. Now it starts off at the top. R becomes aggressive and destructive. He started banging and hitting doors. I went in and kicked him. Knock this off. R continues to be destructive and violent. I put on a pair of boots. I went in and kicked him. Oh my God. Again, you want me to stop? What are you getting from Satan when he tells you to kick to the door? Nothing but more pain. You want me to help you? Yes. Ruby, you want me to feed you? R, yes. Ruby, no, you want me to shower and provide for you? R, yes. Ruby, no, you want to serve the devil and fight me and destroy all that I provide and then expect me to give to you. Go ask the devil to help you. Go ask the devil to feed you. I left. R was quiet, contained in the closet. I mean, my God. I did leave him yelling, and I got that your rage full. I got that you're angry. I get that you're angry. You should be. But you've got to aim that anger in the correct direction. You keep aiming it at me. That is the correct direction, right? And I'm trying to help you. No, you're not. If this is your idea of help, he doesn't need it, right? Get your life back. Get angry and denounce Satan. When I left, R was quiet for a bit, then started yelling, then started calling Satan a big lying piece of baloney. I mean, again, y'all, this, I can't with this. This is insane. Let's go on to page 5. Okay. He continued raging and yelling and crying. Of course he did. I've believed you, and what do you give me? Nothing but pain. You lie, and I've believed you. I'll admit it. I've been a fool to follow you, but no more. It's not too late. I can turn my life around. Get lost. I can get my life back through obedience. Is this sincere? His actions will show. Now, in her world, now this is my theory. He's saying this stuff because honestly, probably he thinks that that's what she wants to hear. And that's what he's doing or whatever. Now, in her world, what she is then wanting him to do is to come and willingly be like, Mom, I want to carry boxes all day long. Mom, I want to go without food. Mom, I want pain, like some kind of discomfort, day in, day out. She is expecting him to want to do this. I can assure you that they didn't do this when they were growing up. They did not go through this or do it. So the fact that she now expects her kids to is very interesting. Okay. So R is manipulating his hand, wet his pants. Ruby to R, you cannot manipulate your way out of pain. The only way out of pain is to humble yourself. You need to pray and show God how you have desecrated your precious body, how you misuse your body. Beg him to help you. I've been such a fool. I don't want to make these choices anymore. Please hear me, God. I won't live this way anymore. My life is crappy. It doesn't have to be this way. Obedience is the way. I've desecrated my soul. I know I can change. I still have a chance. My chance is getting smaller and smaller. I'm not going to choose this anymore. I'm not going to make myself a fool anymore. I've made myself such a fool. I believed all those lies, and all they bring me is pain. God, I've made choices to be so idiotic. I've been so aggressive, so vile, so mean. God, please hear me. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Bless his heart. I mean, he's just calling and screaming out for help in this way. I'm sure she's, number one, convinced him of some sort. He probably does have a belief in this higher power that she has convinced him that just is completely against him. But there's also probably a level of, like, if I do this, maybe this is what she needs to hear to treat me right. You know what I'm saying? Because in essence, in his world, which she has made very tiny, she is God, right? I mean, the parent provides all this stuff, except Ruby's not. She's providing all the stuff that he doesn't need. Okay, let's move on to page 6. This is August 10th, 2023. Jody and Jay are still in Arizona. They should be back tonight. I am watching R in the closet and E on the back patio. It's warm outside and raining. I told R the rain is cleaning the rocks from dirt and R's pee. I told her to feel the rain clean her. I told her she can be as clean as she wants to be. I checked on R, asked what he was thinking about, how my choices have led me here. Me, R, did you know you were in a dark pit of despair? R, what do you mean? Now it's blacked out. And she says, chilling underneath that. God knows what the poor thing said. E stood in the rain for 2 hours. Okay, imagine, I would love to know and hear from the neighbor that the child ran to for help and how he said we've had trouble out of her. I would love to know what experience he's had, like what that trouble was. Okay, let's move on to page 7 now. So we're at August 15th, 2023, Tuesday. For the human who is not humble, today this constitutes the vast majority. You have to get to know your breaking point. R never would have disclosed his sins had he not had a hope that confessing would bring a sense of relief. His motive, because he is not humble, was to feel better, because all of his distractions were taken away, and any belief he was getting them back was banished. We were consistent. We followed through. R was left with only one outlet to find relief: confession. The world we live in today does not support children. See what I'm talking about? She doesn't, but it's the world that doesn't. Gotcha, Ruby. So the world today does not support children being uncomfortable. They, the adults, are uncomfortable with children being uncomfortable. And so children, my gosh, comforted, entertained, distracted from the need to confess and change, stripping down a child's world to the basics of beans and rice and hard work would be considered abuse. And it's not. It's necessary for the prideful child. Again, if she had been willing to do this herself and gone through this herself at some point, but she's not. This is Little Miss, I made my millions on YouTube, and now I've reverted to this right here because it's my next grift, and my children will be the victims of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what's disgusting about it. And I'm not trying to say it would be okay if she had done this too, so therefore she can, but it makes it all the more vile that I'm like, girl, you weren't willing to be this uncomfortable. You know, because I'm sitting here thinking this, like, okay, well, instead of like driving to the grocery store, walk barefoot to the grocery store and carry all the groceries back. Like, give yourself a taste of the medicine that you so easily delve out. Again, I wish they would sentence her to this in prison. Okay, let's continue. Now that R has his behaviors out, all of them, he feels like a failure, a monster, useless, worthless. The relief he felt in confession was short-lived, and now there is nowhere to hide. So he becomes overtly aggressive, destructive, and combative. Foul language I've never heard is now pouring out. It's only distraction, poop, pee, damage. The despair comes in. He is weak, infectious, hopeless, and never felt worse. A setup from the devil now is the work. It has been 3 months of consistent boundaries and putting up with his terrorizing to get his confessions out. Who would do this in the real world? I don't know of anyone who would feed their kid in America beans, lentils, rice, and chicken for 3 straight months, refuse all distractions, and this is why Americans are so full of sin and are ready for destruction. They won't repent. Now again, she's sitting here saying this, and it's like, girl, the vibe is wrong. The level of trauma she's put these children through, it's like, yeah, most people wouldn't do that. You're right. You know what I'm saying? This is an only you thing, Ruby. I mean, not just her, but you know what I'm saying? Other evil people. But again, look at how this tells you where her motivation is not for the children. It's to look at what I've done. I can't think of anyone who would have done this. It's all comes back to her and her ego. But she would never grasp that. August 16th, 2023. Day two of R jumping on a mini trampoline. He needs lots of help with balance and coordination. Today I asked him to take off one sock by balancing on the opposite foot. Lift one foot up and remove the sock. While staying balanced, he fell over, hit his nose while on the ground and began bleeding. I gave him a wet rag to wipe his face and toilet paper. He dabbed his face, merely to smear the blood. Then he blew his nose so harshly through the toilet paper he got new blood on his face and all over his shirt. The easiest exercises he is asked to do, he refuses. With the decrepit stature you would expect of a 90-year-old. He plays completely helpless. His body is full of evil, puffy and infection, and he won't participate in the responsibility of flushing it out. Ours life's meaning and purpose has been don't get caught. And now that he's caught, he wants to be done with life. He feels he has no meaning. But I mean, here's the thing. You can just read what she's putting through. Anybody eventually would be like, I give up. I throw the towel in. I don't know what else to do. I can't win this woman's game, right? I mean, I get it. Let's go on to page 9. Now, most of this, as you see, is blacked out. God knows what's there. So we go down to August 21st, 2023. And it says, poking is a strategy technique R seems to respond to. Poking, pouring cold water, towel whip. I mean, my God. How could I cannot even wrap my mind around, in whatever twisted world she lives, that this is okay. Like, it baffles me how she thinks this. And then to write it down and her inner thoughts about it is absolutely insane to me. Let's continue. It says August 22nd, 2023. First day R soaked, jumped as told. He did wet his pants twice. God pelted hell from the heavens. He is poking R as well. R stayed jumping. Hail in August in St. George is a mystery. A heavenly validation of this intervention. And this is the thing. They interpret all this stuff to be like, see, we're doing things right. What we're doing is fine. This is all okay. God told us. Hiding behind this. Okay, we got one more page to go, so let's go through this and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so we're August 27th, 2023, Sunday. A visited for a week last week. I picked her up last Sunday, the 20th, and took her home to Springfield on Friday. And then it says J, A, and something, and Pam, packed 20 boxes, took them to a storage shed in Springfield. A gave her 2 weeks notice. Blank and R spent the 22nd to the 25th peeing and pooping. He is out of control. He is defiant, abusive, and mean. He refuses to do what he is asked. Just when I think we found a technique that will work, R digs and fights harder. Willing to try anything that would grab his attention, I whipped him with a belt yesterday. E2. She peed all over Jody's garage floor. My God, I can only imagine the maniac rage she went into with this. So let's continue. She wet the floor, screamed at her, and lied to her. She is out of control. E seemed to give me her attention after the whipping. She swept the garage with something and mopped it. She did a good job. R increased his defiance. Now this is it here. There's just a few little things in the last little page there. Okay. Again, I just envision, it reminds me of the mother in the movie Carrie, the original one, of this like dark thing that she went down. But again, it's not like, I get that Ruby it sounds like, she came from the, religious background, all this kind of stuff, but nothing like this, right? None of this seems like anything that she had already gone through herself. Like, this is like a new thing. And again, I just feel like it's this self-serving thing. She got with Jody. They were both absolutely monsters in their own right in different ways. And they were like feeding the flames to each other. And I think Jody saw something she wanted out of Ruby, and Ruby saw something she wanted out of Jody. And the children were byproduct victims of the situation. I do believe that the children, it's like they have to have victims to, number one, money. Number two, define themselves, right? Because look at how much gratification Ruby gets out of doing this to her children, to feel like she is some goddess or whatever she thinks she is. Jody too, thinking, I'm this, remember, Jody's like this revered psychologist up there. Just let that sink in for a minute, okay? That's the shocking part. In addition to all of it, right? And so there's all this here. So now, reading this, and then again, I've said this in the other videos, and then going back over Ruby's speech at her sentencing where she's trying to blame this on Jody and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. You don't get to do all this and then say, oh, whoops. Sorry, my bad. I thought that was actually legit. No. Because I think that she was so drunken with power that she was just going off on this tangent. I don't know how much of this she actually really believed, right? I think she was going down the rabbit hole, but I think it was so laced with ego that that's where a lot of this came from. Because again, there was nothing the kids could ever do to win. So eventually you would just give up. And like we've talked about in the live chats and the comments, I think once she got this property, the children were going to disappear, right? One by one, probably. All the signs were there. There was a never-ending game. R probably would have been first, and then E. Because that's just, I'm surprised they were able to live through what we've read. And again, remember, the blacked out stuff is apparently worse than what we've read. So, yeah. I think I will lose faith even more in humanity. And I'm sorry to say that. And I'm just being facetious with that, honestly. If they do not get the maximum sentence when they go up for their thing for the parole board or however it works up there, just what we've read in the journal, just the evidence photos, I'm like, give them the maximum sentence. They 100% knew what they were doing because this is life sentence type stuff. So the fact that they got this sweet deal, because look at this is a sweet deal they got for this kind of stuff, please. This is a very sweet deal that they got. If they do 30 years each in prison, that's a sweet deal for what they put these kids through. This is lifetime trauma. Look at how, just from what she's describing of R and E, the kids, their mindset, how much they screwed with her mind already. Imagine that's going to be unfolding from this. So my heart breaks for them. But again, if he had not escaped and gone to the neighbors, they would have continued to do this to others, and they would have ended up taking their life. So kudos to him, and I hope that he is able to comprehend that, especially as he gets older and starts to dissect this experience. So that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Roscoe says thank you for watching. I thank you for watching. We're going to keep looking over the evidence. We're kind of getting close to being done with all of it. So just stay tuned. We're going to be, continuing to cover the Chad Daybell trial and all that kind of stuff. So just be on the lookout. Obviously, we're going to follow this and, wait to see and cross our fingers that they get the maximum sentences at least, right? So that's it. Thank you again for watching. Drop some comments for Roscoe down in the comment section, and so that he and I can meander our way down there, sit there and talk to you about this case and the others. And until we do, see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.